what Africa's relationship is going to be in the near future with Europe as the European Union and with Britain, which has now voted to exit the European... I mean, do you think Brexit has opportunities, is now provides opportunities for African countries?
Yesterday, I addressed a meeting of Commonwealth Trade Ministers, the first Commonwealth Trade Ministers meeting at Lancaster House. And I said, the answer to the question you're raising right now depends on what form of Brexit London is executing. Is Brexit a retreat from internationalism by moving out of Brussels to embrace Britain? Or is it unshackling its the binds of Brussels to embrace even greater multilateralism? If Britain is saying we are reducing the hold of Brussels for us to engage the world, they have an opportunity. And the testing ground is, for example, for African countries. If Britain can offer a better deal than the economic partnership agreements that Brussels has been offering, it's an opportunity if Britain can say to our Commonwealth cousins, beyond the binds of culture, nostalgia, and sport, we now want to offer you greater market access into our markets, to build your capacity to trade with the rest of the world, to encourage investment into your territories, to address the question of how non-traditional financing sources like pension funds can be leveraged to enhance structural transformation in Commonwealth developing countries to satisfy their dreams of Agenda 2030. If that's the message coming out of London, we will stand by.
But do you see that message? In all honesty, do you see that message coming out of...
There are two London, there are two Englands there. Yeah. There is a part of England which has Brexited reluctantly, but embraces the responsibility and says, we engage the world. This is home of some of the most successful internationalist investment enterprises. This is financial capital of Europe. There is international spirit and history to this place. If that is the side that grows, we see an England that will complement the fact that it remains one of the highest aid donors in the world, measured as a percentage of gross national product. It can complement that by new market openings and support mechanisms to build livelihoods in developing countries. But there's another side of Britain, a Britain which is rejectionist of the other. If that side is allowed to triumph, then you are going to see a more insular London, and that does not build the momentum for us to see that Britain is going to play the potential role it could play in multilateral development.
Does that mean that you're worried that in the last couple of weeks, in the last couple of months, we've seen the British Prime Minister Theresa May, she's been to the States to talk to Donald Trump, delegations have been sent to India, to China, to Turkey. None has been sent to Africa. Does that worry you?
No, it doesn't worry me. Heightened actions to be seen to be consulting others is part of the sense of not appearing isolated after an isolationist move. But what follows is, does Britain, official Britain, build the capacity and the political interest to enter long-term multilateral engagements? I don't think that bilateralism is possible as a way for Africa, for example. How do I mean? Over the past 45 years, while commercial Britain has been engaged in the world as a major platform for international engagement, official Britain has been looking into Brussels. That in British trade diplomacy has been driven out of Brussels for 45 years, which means there is limited institutional capacity in government to negotiate a proliferation of bilateral trade agreements. But it can be built up over short term, particularly if you stagger attention more towards inclusive multilateralism than attempts that you are going to cherry pick who you are negotiating trade deals with. And speaking as an African, Africa has made very many important strides towards regional integration. To undertake solo negotiations country by country is inherently wrong for the interests of Africa, and it takes the continent backwards. So I hope that even when official London starts looking at Africa, the African countries will take the position that we have seen the value of negotiating as regions, we have seen the value of integrating as a continent. Let no bilateral negotiations slow down the process of Africa's integration.
Okay, thank you very much. That's